Hi everybody, it's Marcy, and I'm back with my beach journal, and I'm ready to start embellishing some of the items that I've made. As you'll recall in my last video, I was kind of going through and placing some of my items, and now I'm at least getting a starting place for where I might want my items to go. So now I'm ready to start embellishing, and I'm going to start with my tags because they are probably the most blank things in my journal right now. And to do that, I've got some of my digital kit, the Dear Julie Julie's Antique Beach Beauties and At the Beach kits. And then I've got some lace here, and I've got, as part of the At the Beach kit, was lots of beach sayings. Like this one says, "My sense of directions leads me one way, to the beach." So I've got a bunch of these. And I've got my shell my shells that have been drilled, shell beads, that's what I'm trying to say. And then I've got my old jewelry set. So let's see what we can get done. I'm going to do one card or one tag, and on camera, and then I will finish the others off camera. And since I've got so many of these sayings, most of which I absolutely love, this one says, "The waves of the sea help me get back to me." Sorry, let me read that again. "The waves of the sea help me get back to me." That's a quote from Jill Davis. So that'll be fine. And I think I'll cut out this great black backed gull using my postage scissors. Okay, so that gives me a postage stamp looking something. So I've got, well, I can't cover up the words. Okay. So, what glue do I want to use? I will be sewing around my tag, but not everything is, the thread isn't going to reach everything. So, I think I'll go ahead and use some art glitter glue here. right. And then I need to peel the freezer paper off the back of this. And I'm just going to dot some glue on this. And I am using my art glitter glue here because this is muslin and I'm certain that the Fabri-Tac would show through. So I'm going to dot that on there. I'll be sewing around that, I do believe, just to give a little added texture element. So I think I'll let that dry, and probably should have distressed around that a little bit. And for this one, for the stamp, I am going to use my vintage photo just to have it stand out from the other things just a bit. Just giving it a little extra, a little more texture on there. Okay. Now while that's drying, I want to, oh, the other thing I can do, I punched out a 1.5 inch circle just out of a piece of the scrapbook paper. I started it with a 1 inch, but I don't think that's going to be big enough because I'm going to need some sort of reinforcement for my tag, and I thought about pulling out my page reinforcers, which is what or my hole reinforcers, which is what I normally use, but that would be one of my 15 elements, and so I didn't really want to use that. And I thought, well, go ahead and pull out my eyelets. At least that would be more useful in other places, potentially. But I didn't really want to commit to that as one of my items either. So I came up with this idea, which will just reinforce where I plan to punch that, and doesn't require me giving up one of my items. I've got 3 items left that I can choose, and I'm being rather stingy about it. Okay. But that should be plenty big enough that when I stitch around it, I'll still have room on there to punch my hole, and that'll just give it a little extra oomph where I'm going to punch that hole. All right. So give me just a moment. I'll be right back. I'm going to go sew around this real quick, and I'll be back. So I stitched around my little saying there, and now I want to add that, and I think just because I will be gluing that onto some thread and fabric, we'll go ahead and use my Fabri-Tac here. So, just kind of making a little collage on the tag. Okay, and then for the top of my tag, I want to use some shells. So what I've done, I've got a piece of my binding thread. It's just embroidery or crochet thread. And it's about 10 inches long. So I'm going to tie it, holding on to the tail, wrapping once, twice around my finger, and then I'm going to knot it. Push the tail, if I can, through that double loop. And I always have to do this very slowly. So that both edges of my loop, I keep pulling it up, close at the same time to create a bigger knot. Okay. And that's probably not the best way to do it. I know how to do it if my knot was doubled, or if my thread was doubled over. That's easier. Okay, so now I'm gonna just thread this beading needle, and I'm gonna put a shell on this first shell. These are little round conch shells, and I want my knot to be on the inside. So on this one, I'm going to go from the inside to the outside. Pull it down to the bottom, be sure that's secure. And then I'm going to put another one on, but I'm going to do it just the opposite. I'm going to go from the outside through to the inside and let it fall down. Then I'm going to take my needle off, and I'm going to again make that double loop, push my thread through, and try to get a decent knot. There we go. All right. Pull that back so that my knot's on the inside. I can trim off the excess. And now what I've done, I did some more. I did 2 more. Oh, I haven't trimmed off the excess. All right. Now, because of the way I did my knots, none of the 3 are going to be exactly the same length, and I'm fine with that. Actually, I think that I like that better. So now I'm going to try as best I can, get as close to the center as I can, and tie a knot, which means I have to push the shells through one at a time. Okay. There we go. And now, where's my hole punch? Take my hole punch. Punch a hole in my tag. I'm grabbing it with the knot there. Actually, I want that to go the other way. I want to go from the back. Because I want my shells to dangle from the front. And now I want to push all 6 of my shells through. So there's 1, and yes, I'm actually keeping count because it's easy to miss 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I apologize if I was out of frame. 5. Oh. 5 tried to be bad. Let's get him redirected. 5 and 6. Actually, I think I did want my knot to go from the front to the back. Because the way I just did it, it could, well, although it's not going to because of those shells. So there you have it. Obviously, this isn't going to stand up. Don't need it to. It just adds a little extra element to the tag. So now what I will do is I will go around and I will stitch around the card, but you don't need to see that. So there you have it. There's my first embellished tags. I probably will do the rest very similarly, so no need to do it on camera, but something a little different using these shells, and so I thought you might enjoy seeing it. So until I see you again, please be safe, stay healthy, happy crafting, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.